Race day is in like 4 days. The insane volume that you work up to in marathon prep. And that is our smoothie. That is gonna be my race day fit. I would advise against that. All the things that you might wanna know going into a marathon, it's just not gonna go well. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Erica. It's so good to have you. This morning, I officially have my last run of marathon prep, minus a shakeout run that I'm gonna do when I'm in Germany with the Runna team. But for my actual training runs, this is the last run on my Runna plan for the Berlin Marathon prep, which is crazy. I cannot believe, I think I did a 16-week prep and it's already over. Like, race day is in like 4 days, I think. Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days. But anyways, I think I only have like 8 kilometers to run today. I'm gonna go do it on the treadmill just to keep it easy. I don't really feel like running outside today. It's already hot out. Just Vegas things, if you know. So I've got my outfit on. I'm wearing Lululemon as per usual. Just made my electrolytes. I've got my YouTube video on lock, and we're gonna go run, get this run done, and then we're gonna talk about all of the ways that I'm prepping for my marathon: packing, training, recovery, food, carb loading, all the things that you might want to know going into a marathon. We're gonna cover them today. But first things first, I'm gonna go do my last run and I'll catch up with you guys after. All right, post shower, gonna make our smoothie. You guys know the drill if you've been here before. Starting with a cup and a half of milk. I'm using almond milk, but you can use whatever you want. Frozen strawberries. I do like a handful, maybe a little bit more. And then the rest of my dark pitted cherries. I think there's like 2 in here. Normally I would put more. A scoop of PEScience protein. This is chocolate peanut butter cup, and as always, you guys know the drill. You can use code Erica to save on PEScience. Then we're doing some cocoa powder. I just eyeball this as well. A dash of pink Himalayan salt for electrolytes. And it also brings out the chocolate flavor. And some stevia. And we'll finish with 3 scoops of ice. And then we blend. Okay, it came out super thick, which I personally love, but if you don't want it as thick, just add less ice or less frozen fruit. Hopefully she doesn't spill everywhere. Go like that. And that is our smoothie post run that I make every single day. All right, we are back from our last run of marathon prep. Crazy to think that 16 weeks ago I was starting this plan, and now we are finally at the end, and I'm running my 3rd full marathon of the year on Sunday in Germany. We leave on Thursday. Today is Tuesday, so I'm just getting everything prepared. It is officially taper week or deload week, and I want to talk to you guys all about how I prep for a marathon, all the things that are involved in tapering, carb loading, fueling, what I'm packing, traveling, resting, recovering, race day itself. So I figured to start, since, as I just said, this week is taper week and I've kind of been tapering for the last 2 weeks. I wanted to go through what a taper is, or deload if you will, why we incorporate them into our programming, what they do for our body, and kind of what to expect if you are going through a marathon prep at the end of your block before race day. So as you go through your marathon training, and by the way, I just want to preface this by saying I follow and use the Runna app. I've been using it for over 2 years. I love it. I trust it with my life. It's gotten me to run my first 2 full marathons, and I'm about to run my 3rd, injury-free, feeling good, knock on wood. Everything stays that way, but it's been fantastic and I would highly recommend it. And I've got a discount code for you guys in the description box, and I'll put it on the screen as well. It's just Erica2 to get you 2 weeks free to try out the app yourself. So what you'll see when you are following a marathon training plan, and specifically Runna, which is what I'm used to, is week after week as you start the training program, your runs are progressively going to get longer, specifically your long run. So you'll notice, okay, maybe you're starting out running a 10K as your long run, and then over the course of your prep, you're gonna go 12K, 15K, all the way up to probably around 32 to 35 kilometers for those last long runs. And then you'll start your taper, typically about 2 weeks before your race. And the reason why we do that, the reason why we don't just run our longest run and then the next week go straight into our marathon, is because we want to back off and give our body time to rest, recover, and not go into that race fatigued, because typically that really long run of prep is going to be your longest run maybe that you've ever done, or your longest run in quite a while, and your body is going to be fatigued from it. So you don't want to go right after that, a week later, already feeling fatigued, muscles sore, just like exhausted honestly, and then try and go run a marathon. It's not the best strategy. So tapers are there to release stress off the body, allow your body to recover and rest so that you're going into your actual race day feeling really fresh and ready to go. So I had my longest run, I believe 3 weeks ago, and I think it was about 34 kilometers. And then from there, I slowly started my taper. So I think my long run the next week was 30K. Then the week after that was 22 kilometers, which is when I ran the Disney half marathon. And then this past week was 14 kilometers. And then next week will be my race. So as you can see, we went all the way up, elevated volume, elevated distance, and then we're going down to then go up again for race day. And as somebody who goes to the gym consistently as well through my marathon training, I also do kind of taper a little bit with my gym sessions the week or so leading up to race day. And all I really do here is I just reduce the intensity a little bit. I still go to the gym, make sure my muscles are warm, active, moving. I still lift weights, but specifically I'd say the last 3 workouts before my race, I'm just lowering intensity. I'm not lifting, like trying to hit PRs. I'm just kind of going there, moving my muscles, getting blood flow in there, promoting recovery. And then also specifically with lower body exercises, I don't do any squats, like lower body exercises. I'd say at least 3 to 4 days before my race, just to make sure that my legs are fully recovered, feeling fresh, and not sore, because nothing is worse than trying to run a long run with sore quads, sore glutes, sore hamstrings. It's just not going to go well. So you want to make sure that your legs are feeling really fresh. Hopefully that covers a taper or a deload and gives you guys some insight into what to expect if you are also training for a marathon and worried about what those last couple weeks is going to look like. Don't worry, you will come down a little bit from the insane volume that you work up to in marathon prep. Your body will get a chance to rest and recover. But I will say, don't be alarmed if during that deload week or those couple taper weeks, if you're feeling weaker, tired, sore, not as fit, your body has just gone through an insane spike in stress on the body over the last couple of weeks. So it is normal for your body to feel a little bit more tired than usual, a little bit more sore. Don't stress. It may feel like you're going backwards. It may feel like you can't hit the paces that you're used to. Do your best to show up and still get those runs in, even if you can't quite hit those paces. Push to the best of your abilities, because trust me, it's going to pay off on race day, and it is normal to feel that way during your taper. Another really important component of marathon prep is nutrition, and specifically carb loading is something I get questions about all the time. Carb loading is something we implement as runners and athletes in all sorts of different sport disciplines. Essentially, the goal with carb loading is to saturate your glycogen stores in your body, make sure that you have as much stored energy in your body and your muscles are as full as possible for race day, so that when you're going out on the start line, you're not starting from a depleted state or a suboptimal state. You want to start fully fresh, fully like saturated, so you've got as much energy as you can on the start line, because one thing about running and endurance training is you're using a lot of energy specifically from carbohydrate stores in your body when you're running, so you want to make sure that you're optimizing that for race day. Now I will say there's a lot of scientific strategies and like very numerical strategies that you can follow and implement for your specific carb load. I like to be fully transparent, so I'm gonna let you guys know that I do not do anything that is super scientific or calculated. I don't track my macros or calculate the carbs that I'm consuming on a daily basis. I used to track my calories, so I do have a pretty informed approach when it comes to nutrition. However, with that being said, my strategy for carb loading, and I'm just saying this generally speaking, I am not a dietitian, so just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but this is a fairly standardized approach, I would like to say. So typically 2 to 3 days before my race, I try and focus on getting 2 to 3 times my normal amount of carbs per day. So I just focus on then for example, for breakfast, I have half a cup of oats. So I would try and double that. So I'd have a full cup of oats for breakfast that day. Same thing with lunch. Let's say I normally have 1 tortilla. I'm gonna have 2 tortillas, or I'm gonna have 3 slices of toast instead of 1.5, that type of thing. So basically just kind of doubling / tripling your normal carbohydrate intake 2 to 3 days before your race. One mistake I see a lot of people make is they try and carb load just the day before the race. I would advise against that. I would actually say, if anything, try and carb load 2 to 3 days before, and then the day before you could honestly eat pretty similar to your daily routine, but just try and have a slightly higher carb dinner. And the reason why I suggest avoiding like the intense carb load the day before is because A, you don't know how your body's gonna respond, right? Like maybe you eat something that doesn't sit well in your stomach and then you wake up the next day and you're like not feeling hot for race day. So I would suggest also eating foods that your body is used to digesting, just obviously in slightly larger quantities. But going back to what I was saying, the day before the race, if you're eating so much food, typically you might wake up the next day and just not feel great. You might feel really lethargic, really full, uncomfortable. So you want to give yourself a little bit of time for your body to actually absorb those carbs and settle and not feel like a stuffed sausage, if that makes sense. So long story short, 2 to 3 days before, like I said, I typically double / triple my carb intake, and the day before is when I kind of just try to eat relatively normal, slightly higher carbs, and then aim for that higher carb dinner. And I try not to eat too close to bed, because eating too close to bedtime can impact your sleep negatively, and you want to make sure that you're getting a really good sleep before race day. Speaking of sleep, this is something that's so important. Obviously, in a race prep in general, you want to be getting your sleep so you can rest and recover, but specifically the week / the couple days leading into your race day, you really want to be prioritizing your sleep and your recovery. Everyone's body is so different. Like I personally could sleep 9 to 10 hours a night, and that is really good for me. I feel very recovered and rested with that amount of sleep, but other people might need more. You might need less. You probably know your body better than anyone. So just listen to what your body needs. Trial and error. And I would say trial and error during your race block, not the week before race day, to see what you need. Obviously, race morning is going to look different depending on what kind of race you're doing. For me, I've ran races where I had to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've ran races like Berlin where I don't think I'm even going to start the race until 10 a.m. So I get to sleep in a little bit. You're going to want to take a look and see what time am I waking up in the morning, and then I would suggest prioritizing really good amounts of sleep 2, 3, 4 days before the race, because typically if you're anything like me, the night before the race, you're not going to sleep your best. I'm just anxious, I'm excited. So go to bed early, but typically I don't fall asleep right away. So at least if you have those couple days backlogged of really good sleep, you're gonna have optimal-ish recovery the day of the race. When it comes to race day, I want to talk all about outfits, what I'm wearing, how to stay comfortable, because my biggest tip is to stick with what you are used to. I would say don't try anything new on race day, whether that be your outfit, your vest, your gels, like specifically your gels, because that can go awry really quickly. But I did lay out everything that I'm packing for Berlin and kind of my outfit in general that I'm going to be wearing. So I'm going to cut to that clip right now to show you guys what I'm wearing and packing for race day, because hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys. I've started laying out some stuff for race day. So this is going to be my outfit. I got this the other day from Lululemon. They're my go-to running shorts, you guys. Shake It Out high-rise running shorts from Lululemon are superior. Over here I've got the Flow Y bra, another staple, super comfy, and then I'm obviously going to be repping my Runna merch. Originally, I was going to wear my Asics Gel Nimbus 27s, but I'm actually going to wear my Nike Vomeros because I ran in them for my half marathon last weekend and they were phenomenal, and I've worn them for multiple long runs and they're super comfy. Then I've got a bunch of Huma gels, but I'm also going to be bringing some Honey Stinger Stroop waffles. I might just take one of these with me to the start line to have if I'm hungry, because I don't know how long I'll be at the start line for, waiting for my corral to start. This might sound weird, but I put powder in my socks on race day. It's basically just to absorb any sweat and prevent blisters, and I'm going to be wearing my toe socks with my shoes as well, just to help with any excess blister prevention. This is my running vest from Solomon. It's the Active Skin 4. I'll be putting all my running gels in there. It comes with 2 water flasks that I'm also going to be bringing, and I can put my phone in there, anything that I need to carry with me. I usually have lip balm, a tissue, and just anything else like sunglasses will be in my vest. Other than that, I'm going to bring my LSKD running belt, which currently has a couple gels in it from my last run, but this I'm gonna wear for our shakeout run on Saturday with the Runna squad, just so I can like put my phone and stuff in there too. And then I do need to charge these, but these are my Shox Open Run Pros, and I'm going to be wearing these on race day. I'm going to try and not listen to anything for the first like hour-ish and just soak in all of the people and the scenery and everything, but these will definitely come in handy later on in the race. And lastly, I'm going to be bringing my Garmin. This is the Garmin Forerunner 255. I've had it for at least a year and a half now, and I love her. And this little band is actually from Amazon. I have it linked in my storefront if you guys want a cuter Garmin watch band. So I think that's everything I'll be wearing on race day, minus like hair accessories and stuff, which you'll probably see in my next vlog. But ultimately, that is going to be my race day fit, minus underwear and socks. But I think she's going to be pretty freaking cute. So just to summarize what I just showed you guys, I've got my staple running outfit there. I've worn that vest for countless races. I've worn those shoes for many long runs. I know those gels sit well in my stomach. I've got my water bottles on deck. I've got my comfy outfit. I've got my watch that I'm used to. Like, everything that I'm wearing during the Berlin Marathon or will be wearing are things that I have worn before and I know feels comfortable on my body, isn't going to cause uncomfortable feelings or chafing, isn't going to cause digestive upset. Fingers crossed, you never know being in a new country. But regardless, hopefully, fingers crossed, everything that I've packed is going to do me just fine on race day because I'm comfortable with it and I know that it works for me. And if I didn't say this already, shoes specifically, you guys, I have heard horror stories of people trying new carbon plated shoes on race day and getting crazy blisters, feet bleeding, just terrible situations that I wouldn't want to wish upon anyone. So my biggest tip for shoes specifically is make sure that you've tried your shoes on at least 1 or 2 long runs. And if you have any issues or pain, I would just suggest going back to your tried and true staples. I have a couple pairs of long run shoes that I kind of cycle between that I know work really well for me, that I've raced in most of them. This is actually the first time I'm running a full marathon in my Nike Vomero Pluses. My prior 2 marathons I ran in my Asics Gel Nimbus 27s and I love them, but I have done many long runs now in my Vomero Pluses and they feel totally fine on my feet, so I'm confident that those are going to work just fine on race day. Lastly, something that I feel like a lot of us talk about as runners is the mental side of running, specifically the mental side of racing. I know racing can be stressful, anxiety provoking, also exciting for a lot of us, and there's so much like mental turmoil that can come with race day. You're overthinking your pacing, you're overthinking your strategy. So I have a couple tips I want to share with you guys. Number 1, like I said before, try not to try anything new on race day. Again, that's gels, shoes, outfit, pacing, strategy. Like, you want to stick to your plan and try not to waver as much as possible because that's what your body and your mind is used to, and it kind of provides that sense of security and safety, I guess, for your brain that eliminates some of that extra anxiety that could be just like swirling around in your brain. My second tip for the mental side is to have multiple types of audio stimulation available for you. So by that I mean playlists. You can find so many of these on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever. You can make your own, but just having multiple different genres or types of playlists I find to be really helpful because you never know what's going to be working for you in the moment. Sometimes I'm like, I need Taylor Swift, and then other times I'm like, hip hop only will work in this moment, you know? So have options, and also have options that aren't music. So for me, podcasts. I have a couple podcasts that I actually save for race day because number 1, it's like exciting to me. I'm like, oh, my favorite podcast that I haven't listened to this week. I'm gonna pop that in around 10K when I'm starting to like get in my groove, and it just helps me stay locked in and has something that's like stimulating for me to think about that isn't just my run. And third, I would say having some sort of audiobook. If you're into reading, that helps me a ton. It just kind of helps me like detach from what I'm doing. I'm kind of watching a movie in my brain, listening to this audiobook. And depending on the day, some days I'm more inclined to want to listen to an audiobook on race day, music, podcast, whatever it might be. You never know how you're going to feel on race day. So have options because it could save your bum on race day. And lastly, just know that you have trained for this. You have put in the hours, put in the work. You have showed up on days that don't feel good. You've put in the miles. You've practiced the paces. Race day is purely just the celebration. All of the training is actually the race. The race itself is when you want to celebrate, enjoy, be present, enjoy the crowds, enjoy the people, enjoy the scenery, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of us. Maybe you've done multiple marathons, but if you're anything like me, training for my first one was like such an insane emotional high, and I just wanted to be as present as possible and soak it all in. Take all the photos and videos that you can because it's something you're going to want to look back on, I promise. All right, you guys, those are all of my race day tips and prep strategies for you guys. If you are training for your first marathon, half marathon, 10K, whatever it might be, good luck. You've got this. Remember to download Runna if you haven't already and use code Erica2 to save on your running plan. And I wish you all the best on your race season. Bye, guys.